Alright, welcome. So in this video, we're going to be going over shoulder internal rotation, PAILs, rails, followed by a very simple external rotation, passive range hold. So the goal of this video is to go over a very easy shoulder capsule mobilization that you can do to improve some of that rotation that's very important for the health of that shoulder joint, okay? So we're going to get ourselves set up in a very commonly used or very popular position called the sleeper stretch. So first of all, you're going to need a block because I recommend you support your head on this one. But we're going to start using the right arm. We're going to go on our side and we're going to support our head right on that block. Now for the sleeper stretch, you want to keep your hips slightly flexed and your knees bent. That way you can kind of like control that rotation, stay supported. For the right arm, you're going to bring your shoulder or your arm, or sorry, your elbow down below the level of your shoulder. That way you can bring that elbow into a position that's going to prevent you from getting too much pinching when you go into that internal rotation. So we're going to start with a passive stretch for the shoulder joint. We're going to take the left hand, put it behind the right, drop it down. Make sure you keep your elbow at 90 degrees and bring that wrist down towards your hip, not away from your body, towards your hip, okay? And for this passive stretch, we're just going to hang out. Now, while you're holding this passive stretch, I'm just going to give you a couple options here, or I want to kind of talk to you about how you can vary this up or how you can change it up to find the right position for you, okay? If you're feeling anything sketchy, like a pinching sensation, you have two options. The first one is you're probably too high, so you want to drop your elbow a little bit lower, below the level of that shoulder. You'll notice that brings that shoulder down into less flexion so that you can get more internal rotation. Another reason you might be pinching and something you can do about it is instead of turning and squaring up against your elbow, you can rotate slightly away. So that abducts the shoulder. That way you have more space in that shoulder joint to rotate. And if you're holding this passive stretch and you're hanging out, you want to make sure you adjust so that you're not, cranking into something that's not too uncomfortable. Okay, so we're going to start with the PAILs rails here. So for the PAILs contraction, we're going to contract the stuff on the opening side here, okay? So I'm going to count to 4. As I count up, you're going to push your right wrist up into your left hand. Your left hand is going to be pushing down into your right wrist. So you're creating opposing forces. Now, you're not going to let your shoulder actually go anywhere, okay? Because you're going to create an isometric contraction. 1, 2. So you're pushing that right hand up. You're resisting with the left. 3. And ramp that up to your safest 100%. 4, hold. You're contracting and you're holding for 3, 2, big breath in, exhale, relax and melt away. You might notice you get some more range there, so feel free to crank a little bit, get some more stretch. And now we're going to go into the rails contraction. So instead of contracting the stuff on the opening side, we're going to contract everything on the closing sides. So here, I'm going to count to 4. As I count up, instead of pushing your right wrist up into your left hand, you're trying to reach your right wrist away from your left hand. So if you do this right, you should be able to create slight separation, okay? So it's an active effort down into internal rotation. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. So if you can see here, I'm losing contact with my left hand. I want you to reach down really hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Meet that range of motion one more time. And we're going to do one last round of PAILs and rails. So we're going to PAILs. We're going to push back into the left. 1, 2, 3, and hold. So we're really trying to crank back. 5, 4, 3, 2, melt away. And for the rails, we're reaching our hand towards the ground. 1, 2, 3, and pull away from that left hand. 4, hold. Keep reaching, try and touch your fingertips to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Good. So now we're going to go into an external rotation, passive range hold. We're going to take this right wrist, bring it back towards the ground. Using our left hand, we're going to press it down here. So we're bringing it to passive external rotation. I'm going to count to 4. As I count up, I want you to press and pin your wrist to the ground, but on 4, you're going to lift your left hand off, and when you let go, your right wrist shouldn't drop away or lift away, okay? So we're bringing it to external rotation passively, and then trying to keep it there. 1, squeeze that fist. 2, press into the ground. 3, and 4, reach down, keep reaching. So you're trying to press the back of that wrist down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. And if you're cramping like I am right now, just take a breather. Couple seconds, shake it off, and bring it back into external rotation. Real quick, if you're cramping, that simply means you're just not good at this and you just gotta get better. So the more you do this, the better that tissue or those rotators are going to be able to contract in that passive range of motion, okay? All right, one last passive range hold. Push into the ground. 1, 2, squeeze everything. 3, and 4, hold. Let go of that left hand. You're pressing the back of the wrist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Good. All right, so we're going to switch. We're going to go into the left side now. So you can come on up. Switch over. Same thing here. You're going to get comfortable on your left side. And make sure you support it with that block. Get your neck comfortable. Check your angles here, right? So keep those legs bent. Drop that elbow down to where you're comfortable and crank into some internal rotation. Now you might start to notice some differences between the left and the right side. Me in particular, I have a lot more on my left side. So my right side definitely needs some more work. But just keep stuff like that in mind. That way you know what to do next time and what to focus on. So just hold this passive stretch. Remember, toy around with the angle of your torso. Rotate away, rotate towards, right? Make sure that wrist doesn't travel away from your body. You're keeping it towards your hip. And if you do this right, you should feel a nice stretch like the back of the shoulder or like deep inside that shoulder capsule. So if you're missing some of this internal rotation, some of the things you'll notice a little bit more difficulty in, or some exercises are like presses or anything overhead. Internal rotation is essential for being able to do any pressing motions, without your shoulder getting sketched out. So if you're limited here, definitely you should work on it. Okay, so we're going to go through same thing as the right arm, 2 PAILs and rails, followed by 2 rounds of external rotation passive range hold. Let's go into the PAILs contraction. We're pushing the left wrist up into the right hand. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep pushing up. You're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. So that's the PAILs. This is the rails. We're trying to reach the fingers down. Ready? And 1, 2, try and lift away or drop away from the right hand. 3, and 4. You're reaching to the floor. You're going into active internal rotation for 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm going to support my head a little more. Okay. Cranking into more range. 1 more round. PAILs contraction. Push up into your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep reaching up. Keep pushing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Let that shoulder drop. You might notice some of the range of motion start to clear up after that PAILs contraction. Try and get into that new range. So for me, I'm going to try and keep my fingertip, my middle finger down on the ground, okay? So that's going to be my active rails effort. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, reach. Try and touch the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Good. Rotate back. We're going into external rotation, passive range hold. Take your right hand, bring it back into external rotation. As I count to 4, you're going to try and stick that wrist down to the ground as you let go of that support. 1, squeeze that fist. 2, squeeze that biceps, triceps, create that tension. 3, and 4, hold, let go of that right hand. You're trying to press that wrist down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Good. So this side I'm not cramping, so I think I'm a lot better in external rotation than my right side. Okay, one more round. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep reaching down. Drop. Press that wrist for 5, 4, 3, 2, and melt away. Good. And just slowly come off of that. And come on up. Oh, okay. So let's just quickly review what we just did. We took the shoulder joint, brought it into internal rotation, held a nice passive stretch for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, went through 2 rounds of PAILs and rails. So our goal there is to capture some of that passive range that we got, turn it active by training it with some isometric contractions. Excuse me. And then for the external rotation, we brought the shoulder into that passive range, and we did a passive range hold by keeping it there and then letting go of that support so that we can try and capture some of that passive range and make it active, specific to external rotation. Now, what I recommend you do is either you restart this video and go through one more round, or you just do this another time. So this is something you can do daily. If you're doing any pressing work or anything in the gym that requires you to use your shoulders, you want to make sure you have good internal rotation. It's very easy to neglect, but very essential that you stay on top of it, okay? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, anything sketchy you might want to ask for some help about, and any requests. So appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.